guys, this is KK. Good news. Every Wednesday afternoon, we're going to have a live talk on the Only Murders subreddit. If you're not yet on the subreddit, click on that link in the show notes and join us. Each week, we'll dive into our latest podcast episode and discuss your latest theories and guesses. Here's the conversation from this week.
Hello again. Thank you.
Hello to you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so wonderful to have you both back.
It's so exciting to be back.
Yeah, right?
To be invited back.
We had a really great time the first time. So we're excited to do some more.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear it. And I think we're talking about having you all back on a more frequent basis. So we're very excited to announce the community about what our next schedule is going to be looking like.
Fantastic. We love it. Hello, Only Murders people.
Our cognacs.
Our cognacs.
We're excited to have you all with us.
Oh, we're so excited to have you here. Oh my goodness. You know,
we're talking about, we'll talk spoilers and everything, but we're now up to 3.
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
The last day of Bunny Folger.
Oh my gosh. And you know, one of the comments on the announcement post today was asking if we could have a moment of silence for Bunny.
Oh, yes. I actually saw that. I forgot who did that, but that was great. You know, we could have a moment of silence and here lies Bunny Folger.
Yeah. If anyone has drinks in hand, pour one out for Bunny Folger.
Especially Folger's coffee.
Yes.
Yes.
Or champagne. She's good. She's a big champagne drinker, right?
It's got to be top shelf, though. Top shelf.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the sub has been, I think the most surprising thing about this episode was just how humanizing it was for our dear Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when you hear our podcast, you're going to love, because we with the writer, right? KK, the writer did. And he did a great job of talking about that specifically. So it was very cool. So you want to definitely tune in and listen to that.
Yes. Ben Smith is the writer of that episode. And it was he was a great interview.
I like to call
Oh my gosh.
So.
That is so great. You know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and link the podcast in the comments here.
Great.
The podcast episode, I should say, so that people can easily find it, because that is so wonderful. And to get that kind of behind the scenes look into this episode, because I think it was a very emotional one for a lot of people.
Yeah. And it really goes along. It really did humanize her. And I really enjoyed getting to know her. I really did. So I'm sad that she got, poked and prodded with knives and things.
Knitting needles
and things.
Yeah, I know. Who knows? There might be another prod in there that we don't even know about.
Another prod somewhere.
Something else pointy.
Something else pointy. That's right.
And we actually got a chance to speak with Bunny herself, Jane Howdeshell. So she's also on the podcast.
Oh, I love her. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Right? I know.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Well, you get to hear from her, the one who plays Bunny, the one and only.
She's amazing. There was someone that also on the episode 3 discussion thread was talking about her theater background.
Oh, right now. She's in The Music Man right now on Broadway. So she's been
with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, with Hugh Jackman, and she's phenomenal. She's been. It's so interesting. I mean, you'll listen on the podcast, but I saw her many years ago on the play called Well, and she was incredible. And I've loved her ever since. So she's just a fixture there in New York City.
And she's a Tony Award-winning actress.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Just so incredible. It reminds me of like another show, which I love, Gilmore Girls, where they have a lot of theater stars in there, and you don't appreciate it until you kind of do a little bit of sleuthing.
Right. And sleuthing is the perfect thing. Exactly. And you start to see, you go, wow, they have amazing people on this show that have such depth to them, which is why in episode 3, Bunny Folger, her last day, it really is, you care about her. Isn't that interesting? Even though there's humor and everything, you just see her depth, and you feel for her.
You really feel for her. You feel bad for her at points too. It's really kind of sad.
It's sad. it's sad that they don't, I mean, everyone has seen up to episode 3, I'm assuming from listening to this.
Hopefully.
So, hopefully. Walk away if you haven't.
Yes. Click away.
Did you come back? Yeah. So, but she, when she tried to befriend them later, and it was just heart wrenching. They just, the reason I think they just closed the door in her face is just because they didn't really believe her but finally the boy who cried wolf kind of thing, it's like that. It's like, you just don't believe that she cares anymore. It's just kind of too late. It's so sad, even though they do open the door eventually, but.
Yeah. And that heartbreaking line by Charles saying we couldn't have saved her life, but we maybe could have, I'm butchering it. We could have shown an act of kindness or something like that. It was.
But they could have maybe saved her life too. But yes, that one act of kindness that was really for the audience, which I loved, because it's not trying to knock you over the head with anything, because it's just a show, but it was just beautiful. Exactly. There's some great gems this season with those words, with the wordings. What was the one KK before that I liked so much was the sentence, and I'm going to remember it from the last couple episodes. What was it that she said?
I'm gonna hop in here, Keener, while you're working on remembering that. Maggie, here. I'm Maggie. I'm one of the producers on the show. But since we're trying to stay within a half hour, I just want to give a quick recap of what's on this week's podcast episode for interested people, and then I think we should dive into letting people share their thoughts and ask questions and that sort of thing. So really quickly, this week's podcast is, we talked to Ben Smith, who's the writer of the episode. He also wrote on season 1. We talked to Jane Howdyshell, as they mentioned, who plays Bunny and also voices Mrs. Gambolini. And we also had a little bit of time with John Hoffman, the showrunner, and both Ben Smith and John Hoffman talked a lot about the reasons why they felt like they needed to humanize Bunny and make her a more, she was so easy to hate. So it was really important to remember that she's a real person. So I'm glad we had that moment of silence for her. But there's a lot of really interesting things about this episode, both thematically, character-wise, and I think also clue-wise when it comes to solving her murder. So I think it's a really great episode. If any of you guys want to check it out, I think there'll be a link to it. And then Keener and KK, I think if you want to field some questions or lead some discussion, that would be really great, right?
Yes, I'm curious to hear what people think.
Mm-hmm. Please.
All right, let's hop into it. Just a quick PSA for those who are maybe new to Reddit Talk. Welcome. This is it. If you'd like to speak with Keener and KK and give your theories, ask questions about the pod, about the episode, hit that hand icon on the bottom of your screen and you will have a chance to come up on stage to talk live. Until then, we did have one thing in the comments as we wait for some hands to get raised. Mm-hmm. This is from Mistress Mouse Feather. And they say they have to listen later, but they wanted to bring up how at least Howard and Dr. Stanley moved the cage from Bunny's bedroom and could have seen the painting and wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, because they moved the painting from the bedroom for the retirement party.
Right. That's right.
They moved the bird.
They moved the bird.
The bird, right.
Cage. Yes, they moved the cage. And so.
Because it was in Bunny's bedroom, which we see when she gets up in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, well, should we say what our guesses were, KK, for?
Sure.
For 3, do you want to go first and then we can just see?
Sure. My guess for the Whodunit Summit was Ivan, who was the waiter at the Pickle Diner, who Bunny sees every day. I'm not 100% convinced it's Ivan, but there's things that just seem odd. We know that Bunny knows the killer. I feel like Ivan would know Bunny's daily schedule since she's a regular at the diner. And something that just sticks in my head is that he mentioned that he had taken his shift off the day before. So I'm like, maybe he was doing something then. Maybe he's learned about the paintings just from being around Bunny all day. Maybe he knows the Arconia somehow just, from being around her. So he was my pick for this week.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Ivan the waiter.
Ivan the waiter. That's his full name on the thing. And I'll just say red herring. But I'm going to I said for the Whodunit Summit, Alice, because
The gallery
the
owner.
the gallery owner, and the possible love interest of Mabel, and I think that it's just a combination. First of all, last season we had the love interest, right? Jan, cuckoo for Cocoa Bird, and she, and I think it's another one, maybe another love interest is like that. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to put it out there. She's all about art, and there are, paintings involved. She saw she knows about the mural, and maybe she went in there to kind of surprise Mabel, and Bunny was there. That's my guess.
That's your guess.
Interesting. Change as it does.
It
will change. It will change repeatedly.
Both interesting guesses. To bring it back to the question of the bird getting moved.
Right.
I do think that's really interesting because, if the bird was in the bedroom with the painting, maybe that's why the bird needed to get moved into the main room, so that a painting could be moved. I don't know.
And let's put it this
thought
way.
I had.
That's a great thought. And let's put it this way. If I had a different guess that I could have done, Howard might have been, because that's a really, as I thought about it too, that's such a great thing to bring up about the painting. It really is. And who saw it and who might know about it. And, and the bird was right there. And Mrs. Gambolini knows who killed.
And don't forget, Howard also has that black eye.
Right. And he's always making excuses about a cat issue, right? There's always something. The cat issue, he falls, he faints, he everything, so many different things. So Howard's always a good guess in my book.
But this one's from Hannah Lemp. In your previous episode, Noah Levine, episode 1 co-writer, told you to look out for some anagrams this season. Mm-hmm. You have any thoughts on what some anagrams could be? I think /hope stings, rain sticks, maybe one.
That's interesting. Did you try any anagrams with that?
I go to season 1 again.
Season 1, Keener called out one with Mabel, right? Mabel.
But
what was it?
Mabel and Blame.
Blame. If you rearrange Mabel.
I started thinking, and I thought, is he trying to move us down a road that is real or not real? Or are there anagrams? Or I keep diving deep because I just don't know if that was, he says it and then you go, remember last season we had, who was it who said, which writer said, you got to go to Florida and then you got to multiply by 5 and then
It was very involved. It was a very involved clue.
It was a very involved clue. And
beyond us.
Yes, you guys good.
And it was totally fake.
Yes, that one was. But the anagrams, it seems like it might not be fake because it's just a great clue. And look at us now. We're trying to figure out what I haven't seen any. I thought Pickle Diner. Did that have anything?
Right. Maybe pickle. If you rearrange pickle, does that spell something?
No. So
I feel like it's got to be an unusual word or a word that's just, and like they really went heavy on the pickles. The labels were everywhere.
Yeah.
It was on the jars. It was on the table. It was on the storefront outside.
Yeah. And you wonder.
I'm going to work on pickle.
I'm going to work on my anagrams all the way through to the next episode. And then we'll get back to you because I'm going to probably look at them again. I'm going to watch them again and see if I see anything. Yeah. Because there has to be somewhere.
Ivan can be an anagram for vain.
Yeah. I think that, but you go, yes. And then, yeah. Or, in Avenue.
Hannah 127 says, I thought Rose could be an anagram for Eros, which means love and desire.
Oh. Wow, that's good.
That is a good one.
True.
Mm-hmm.
That's good because that's some desire. Someone, when I was reading the comments, someone put in that that Charles's father was reading Dial M for Murder. I didn't see that. I didn't notice that either in the painting or something. He was reading,
or maybe in the flashback with little Charles when
he's doing his little Charles when he was
waiting outside the building on the bench.
I mean, so KK, would you? If you could have changed, I mean, don't say who, but if you could have changed your Ivan thought, would you have said something else instead?
I switched from Ivan for this episode.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna stick with Ivan because okay. I think he's just so outside the box that it seems suspicious to me. And who knows, we might be seeing him again. You know what
I'd love to know from somebody is did it change your feelings about Bunny this episode? Did it just no? I mean,
yes. Did you sympathize with her?
What?
Did they sympathize with her? Was there something specific that happened to her in her last day that you're like, oh, poor Bunny?
What would your last day? No, let's not talk about that. Do you want to? Yeah, would you have opened the door? Would you have let her in? That's always, I always wonder.
Would you have let her in, Keener?
I'm a sucker for champagne. No, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for somebody who literally changes their ways in front of me kind of thing. And just, I feel for them, even if they were a complete douchebag before, like, I just, it's just something you just, I just feel for them because I would have. We would have been buddy or bunny. I'm
also curious. Yeah.
KK, do you want me to tell you why I think it can't possibly be Ivan?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because at the end of the episode, she opens the door and she says, "What the fuck do you want?" And I just don't think she would have talked to Ivan that way. I think she loved Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe she only likes him at the restaurant.
I think you bombed. You lost.
I think that shows that she knows the killer, but doesn't like him.
Yeah, I think that's actually great because I think it's somebody who she looked down upon.
Wait. Remember her best friend is Uma, and how do they say goodbye to each other?
Yeah, but she was a little hostile. She was hostile, right? So she's
hostile to everybody, though.
Yeah, but she's not, even when they shot the bird to each other at the end, when they were saying their goodbyes or walking away, it didn't seem like it was more of like, that's how they interact, but no hostility to it. I think you have a good point. I think that, it's somebody again who she looks down upon. I mean, it could be anybody. It could be Nina. It could be it could be any of the people.
She looks down on a lot of people.
She's down on a lot of people. And I think that, someone pointed out, gut milk woman. I mean, there's so many thoughts. There's so many different people. And I think that,
something about Ursula, gut milk woman, that I noticed is I think it's in episode 2 when they're hiding out by the dumpsters to stash the painting. They see Ursula dumping a bunch of papers into the trash can. That felt like too coincidental, that she would just be there dumping things. What's she dumping and why?
What's she dumping and why?
Elevator invoices.
Yeah. Well, and also, obviously, the elevator didn't get fixed, even though she had her sign the elevator
That's right.
thing, because that elevator broke down the next day or whatever, the same day.
Isn't that interesting that some of the people we thought last season are, around this season, and they really, really could be this season, right? It could actually be they had enough of it and they're the killers now. Maybe not last season when Jan, but they just after two seasons with her, they're done with Bunny. They can't handle it anymore. So that's an interesting way to think about it too.
I'm wondering if anyone here listening, I think you were kind of mentioning this one, Keener. It was a quote from Bunny. I'm wondering if anyone had any thoughts on it. And I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but it was something where she said to Ivan, don't let yourself only love one thing, because when it goes away, then you got nothing. And I wonder what people listening think about that. And what is it regarding? Is it the Arconia?
Thanks, KK. You're my other friend. Thank you so much, because that is true. That was it. I thought there's so many beautiful sentences in this murder story, like that just, you just think about it. And I love that too. It's just very poignant.
Touched your heart?
It touched my bitter, bitter heart. Yes, not like...
I see another comment from Hannah K127 that says, I can't remember if this has been discussed before, but do we know how Uma knows that the painting was in Bunny's bedroom the day before she died? Why was she in her bedroom? Do you guys have thoughts on that, KK and Keener?
Well, they are friends. We know that.
They are friends. They could be, that's another one. I can't imagine it's Uma. Like, I just can't imagine that. But
I don't think it's Uma either.
But someone else did point out, how does she know that? But, listen, somebody could have stolen the painting and it has nothing to do with the murder, So I don't think Uma needs, who needs money? Who needed the money? Uma doesn't have any issues like that. She could have been in there for so many different reasons. Howard, I don't know. Howard's still angry about his cat and everything else. But I can't think about, I don't know, think Uma would do it. And I think she could be in there for so many reasons. And,
well, I have a question about that, Keener.
Yeah.
Now, when Bunny died, she left Mrs. Gambolini to Oliver. Mm-hmm. Why would she leave it to Oliver and not Uma?
Because
does anyone else have any thoughts on that? Yeah. Why would she leave it to Oliver and not her friend Uma?
To think about that. I just think just to irritate him, because a bird lives to be between 70 and 90 years old or something, And it just sounds like her.
And she doesn't think that he'd give it away or something?
What Uma said, remember, this is her final wishes. You're not going to take her final wishes. So he wouldn't do that. He would not do that. I think that he's going to have to hear Mrs. Gambolini speaking, and it sounds like Bunny. It's going to irritate him. And Bunny probably taught Mrs. Gambolini a lot of things to say negatively towards Oliver, so, he's just going to have to survive that. That's what's going to happen.
And birds live for a very long time.
The bird's going to outlive him. Mrs. Gambolini. What does Mrs. Gambolini mean? Have you figured that out? Maybe
that's an anagram.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a long one.
It's a very long one. I wonder what that, it's got to mean something, right? Does anybody have a thought on that, Mrs. Gambolini?
Yeah, will it be something that comes up on a later episode, maybe? Maybe it's explained?
They have to explain that in some way.
I just saw somebody had their hand raised. I thought I invited them, but I've never done that before. I invited them to speak. Maybe I didn't do it right. So I think there's nowhere or something. If you want to raise your hand again, I'll try to do it right this time. But also, just want to throw out there, we can chat until about 5:05. So if you're feeling shy and you want to get up here and ask a question or share a thought or something like that, make sure you do it in the next 10 minutes, because we do have to hop off because we have an interview with a cast member at 5:15-ish that you guys actually haven't met yet. That gets introduced in episode 4. So exciting.
Ooh, very exciting.
So we've got Hannah Lemp here on stage. If you want to unmute, you go for it.
Hello.
Hi, Hannah.
I was wondering what you thought of Nina's character in general, and if I don't know if it's been brought up already, but a lot of people discussed the possibility of her faking her pregnancy. I don't know why she would, but I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
I actually kind of wondered that at the beginning, but that would be a lot of upkeep. And she'd have to have an exit strategy, right?
Nina, I'm not she's sort of that overly nice kind of fakey nice, if you just hear hi everyone and all those things, and just sort of, I'm not the biggest fan of Nina. I think she's just kind of, but listen, newness at the Arconia, why not?
Well, Bunny was definitely grooming her to take over her role there.
That's right.
But it seems like Nina was just kind of giving her lip service and telling her what she wanted to hear.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. She seems like she's not genuine at all. That's what it appears to me. And so, you know what? That could coincide with not being pregnant, but I don't, we'll have to see about that one, but I don't know. It's a good,
I did wonder that as well. That's interesting.
You did.
I did. Yeah.
You sure did.
I sure did.
Right when you met her. Yeah.
Did anyone else think Nina is faking her pregnancy?
What would be the reason to fake the pregnancy? I wonder. Like, what would be the motivation? It's
sympathy, so she could be the head of the Arconia. Who knows? She seems so much. Well, if she's some sort of, I don't know. I think that she's just sort of narcissist. So maybe she wants to feel like she's pregnant. I don't know. I think she is pregnant. I haven't had that thought. But what's interesting about this show is that they throw so many, and again, we'll throw them out, red herrings out, that you just don't you question things that you wouldn't even question, right? Because it doesn't even make any sense. What would be the point? But that's what's fun about these shows.
Well, maybe people would think that a pregnant woman wouldn't be a murderer. So it kind of deflect any attention she might get.
Right. That, I guess.
Well, the pregnant woman couldn't be doing it.
I guess I'm going to have to put a little baby bump on me.
I will say there is a Reddit theory out there too, or comment about Nina always wearing red as the red herring.
Oh,
I did not pick up on that.
I didn't pick up on that either. How fun. Okay. You know what? As it goes along, we're going to have to ask, writers, and you never know. They might.
That'd be a good question to ask.
They might give us that. They might give us that one. That's a really great one. That's awesome.
That feels very on brand with the way that they write their clues in the show too. You know what I mean? Like that checks out.
Has everyone noticed, because that's so interesting, I'm all about colors, even in art or anything I see. Has everyone noticed that the colors in the beginning are a little more primary? They're very deeper this season, it seems like to me, the greens and the red, all those. And so do the, we have Oliver, who's not so bright purple, is like a little, like it's more muted. And although there's a lot of those primary colors, so that's really interesting. They might have picked the red for her as the red herring. I think colors mean something in this show. I really do. So
we'll have to keep an eye out to see if she's carrying a herring fish.
Or a fake one.
Just like really hit it.
Knock you in the head with the red herring.
I'm curious if anyone else thinks Nina could be faking her pregnancy, and why.
Yeah. I don't, because that would be a good question. Why?
Mm-hmm.
But sympathy, or like you said, nobody's going to think of her as that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A bit of a deflection.
Yeah.
From Icy Red Rose, there's been a lot of talk about the person who attacked Bunny and who killed Bunny as two different people, such as the person who attacked her wanted the painting, but the murder was unrelated. What are your thoughts on that? Any chance the murder was actually after Mabel and it was a wrong place, wrong time situation for Bunny?
Oh, well, that could explain why there's two different weapons, the knife and the knitting needles used, if two different people did something.
KK, you made a point of saying, I think, that the knitting needle, it was trying to, that way it looked like it was Mabel. Right? You were trying to, which was a really good thought on that. Yeah, that could be. She's did she say? I'm going to paraphrase her. Actually, say, "What the fuck do you want?" Or whatever she said. But
something like that, yeah.
But they were in Mabel's place, right? So she's there.
It could be two different people. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody comes in They have a conversation, and then somebody else that could be hiding in there. Yeah.
And don't forget last season with Teddy and Theo, they had their own separate crime, which was the jewel stealing.
Yeah, so there could be two.
So they seemed like murder suspects, but they had a different crime.
Yeah, one could be the murder. That's saying one stole.
So maybe there is something else going on here. Another layer to the mystery.
Yeah. Mrs. Gambolini knows.
Mrs. Gambolini knows.
I still want to know who Mrs. Gambolini is. There's got to be something. If anybody looks up that name and sees if there's anything has to do with anything, in a play or who knows?
Not The Sopranos.
No, Mrs. Gambolini.
Not Gandolfini.
No, Mrs. Gambolini. So that could be two different ones. Like you said, how last season there were two different crimes going on.
I've got Puzzled Exchange here if you want to say what you're thinking.
Hi. No comment?
Oh, hey, can you hear me now?
Ah, there you are.
I'm sorry, it took me forever to find that. Can you hear my toddler?
Yes.
Oh, hello. Got a guess?
What I wanted to ask you is last season when they were showing Mabel commenting that there are a lot of loose threads or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so they did it again this season. So I think the writers are trying to have us tie season 1 to season 2.
Oh, that's a great point, because when we talk to the writers, they are really doing that. They want to have through lines from last season. They talk about that, right, KK?
Yeah, things that will carry over for the viewers.
Yeah, so I think I could, like, for a lot of characters, there are a lot of ways you could tie them back in, but one of the people I was thinking about was Nina, and you guys were talking about Nina. So I was thinking that, you know how there was an emerald ring and then there was a diamond ring?
Right.
Okay, so they found the emerald ring, and the emerald ring seems like it was what Tim needed to be able to have his evidence,
right?
To be able to solve what he was trying to solve. And then at the very beginning of the season, Tim is in the elevator and he's desperately trying to get the diamond ring. And he's all dressed up, but he's been fired. But he's all dressed up. So where's he going? So I was thinking that he was going to propose to someone, and that's why he dumped Jan. So he wanted this diamond. So he wanted this diamond ring, and he wasn't with that person the same way. You know how he pushed Mabel away because he wanted to protect her? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so he wasn't. So now he's solved the case, and he wants to be with this person. And I think the person was Nina, and I think that Tim Kono's Nina's baby's father.
Oh.
That was a loose thread. But
it doesn't tie into the painting.
Yeah.
But you know what? A very interesting theory, though. Very interesting.
It is a very interesting theory, and it really thought out. And it's interesting because you want to. They're bringing so many people back, or like you said, loose threads and things. So Tim Kono could be brought up in this one. We don't know. There's so many more episodes to go. And right, where did Nina come from?
Yeah, because she wasn't on season 1.
Yeah, so we have to find that out, because now she's going to take over the Arconia.
Yeah, and she's a hedge fund manager, so. And then he was something in finance, so I think like he was like an investment banker or something. So that's something else they would have had in common.
Yeah. They crossed paths, and we're going to find out how they did and what.
Baby Kono, maybe.
Baby Kono. That's great. Thank you. That was really good.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Now I know how to mute. Bye.
There you go.
Yeah, we're all learning. We're all
learning. Do we have any closing thoughts before we sign off to go do our interview?
Yeah, I think make sure you after you watch, you just listen to if you want to watch again after you listen to our podcast. It's kind of fun to listen to our podcast and then watch it again, that episode, because it's kind of cool to hear what writers or actors or anyone is saying about it, and then going, oh yeah, I missed that, or it's so cool.
And maybe we ask a question that you wanted to ask.
Right. That's true. And so just always know when we're on here, we're excited to talk to you, and that, we might carry it over to the next episode. You never know what you give us. So thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And also, if you want to put any questions or comments in the comment thread, we'll try to keep an eye on it and respond to as many as we can. And we do have some other theories that we bring up usually in each episode. So,
and we always ask for clues from the writers and cast.
Yeah. And they give us some good thoughts. They really do. So, and some back history and things like that, which is so cool. So thank you, and keep listening, keep watching.
Yes, please do.
All right. Another very fun Reddit talk with you all. Thank you so much for coming through. And we will hopefully see you back here soon, and hopefully have more theories and clues to share. Until then, we will keep listening, keep watching, and hopefully email at onlymurders@strawhutmedia.com as well.
Yes.
Perfection. And we're signing off with a murder.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Have a
Thanks,
great day,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.